Welcome to Source Material, a podcast where we tell each other funny and or formative stories from our lives and then make it into an RPG and play the story out together. It's a bit of a combination of long-form improv, collaborative storytelling with maybe a touch of group therapy. My name is Nathan. I'll be the one telling the story today, and I'm joined by
Emma. I'm very excited to hear this story because I don't know what it's going to be. And yeah.
And Maddie, and I'm also very excited to hear it because Nathan and I were talking before Emma got here, and he said that
Rude.
he has told Emma this, but he has never told me this. So I'm double excited. But there was also the ominous thing that you said that you didn't like who you were in this story. Was that it?
Yes, that is true. Because we're talking about like whether or not you would want to play yourself. And I said, I don't want to play myself because I don't like myself in this story.
Oh my God. Heavy dose of group therapy coming in here.
Don't worry. I'm here to play you.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know I've already also decided that Emma's playing you.
Works for me. Well, let's hear the story first before you decide if you want to jump into.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah. So like I said, not a big fan of myself in this story. Definitely shows off some of early Nathan's flaws. Speaking of which, this was probably, I'm going to say, somewhere between like second and fourth grade. I'm not sure exactly where, but it's like early, mid-elementary school time.
Ooh, okay. So you were a bad kid.
Yeah. I mean, we can all decide how bad of a kid I was after.
Can I guess the story?
Sure.
Wait, but not if it ruins it for me.
Is it the baked good story?
Yes, it's the baked good story.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I still have no context. Please tell me.
All right. So things to know just to set the story. I was like a nerdy kid growing up, like just my interests and things like that. The things I liked were generally pretty nerdy, but at the same time, I was also like, I don't know, 6 feet by the time I was in sixth grade.
It's okay. You can just say we're a big old jock who hadn't discovered D&D.
Well, I hadn't discovered D&D, but the point of it is that I had like nerdy friends, like, because the point of the story is that I had like multiple groups of friends, which everybody does, but it was like I had, some friends here, I'm going to use fake names, but they were a bit on, the nerdier side or whatever, and then some friends who were more jock-like.
Like Brian Bacanelli?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't full jock. I guess he was, but he was like a nice one. I don't know how to parse this. Anyways, I'm going to use fake names. I'm going to use Carl and Evan as the names. Carl being the more jock-like friend, Evan being the slightly more like classic nerdy friend.
Nice.
We'd all hang out at recess. You know what recess is. And at one point, I don't remember the exact situation, but Carl was sort of picking on Evan in some way, shape, or form. And I like stepped in and I was like, hey, leave him alone, something along those lines, and got him to back away.
Oh, wow. Okay, we love Nathan so far in this story. That's really nice.
I wrote down a bunch of little notes, and one of the things I wrote in brackets after this point was, this is the last good thing I do in this story. So another fact about me that probably Maddie knows, but I don't know if Emma has seen as much of a side of, is that I was like the worst mooch ever. Like if somebody had any sort of food or anything, I'd be like, hey, come on, split some off that. Like, come on, let's share.
Hey, you know what you had? What if I had some of that?
Exactly. So the friend Evan had a mom who made like the best baked goods ever. And I say this, as you guys know, as someone whose mom was like an amazing baker growing up. But even still, this kid, his mom made like the best muffins and stuff. And so anyways, I was always trying to mooch it off of him.
Rude of you to tell this story without any delicious baked goods in our house. I'm so hungry already. True. I want a Rice Krispie treat. I want a brownie. I want a cupcake. I want a muffin.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
I just chugged a big old smoothie, and I also want all those things. But I feel like I also maybe have a little bit of a sense of where this is going.
Probably do, yeah.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Evan says to me at some point, he says, hey, Carl sometimes bothers me. Will you keep him away from me or keep him from bothering me and I'll like give you half of whatever. Like if, he often would like get like 2 muffins, he'd give me a muffin, something along those lines. They were like these pumpkin muffins with chocolate chips. They're really good. Doesn't matter.
So visceral.
I was like, immediate deal immediately. But the problem is I was friends with Carl, so I didn't want to like get into a fight with Carl all the time. That's just not, wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went and I told Carl about the situation. And I said, "Hey, here's the deal. I'll give you some of the baked goods that Evan gives to me, and we'll sort of put on a bit of a play every so often, you know?" So
Oh, this is not exactly where I thought it was gonna go.
we couldn't just do this deal and then Carl never bother him, because then what am I here for? Why would he keep on paying me? I have to make my value clear.
Oh my God. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, clearly we were raised in a capitalist society.
Full baked good racket.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So basically what would happen is every so often, I don't like remember the specifics of like how often this would happen or whatever, but Carl would come up and be like, blah, 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 to Evan, and then I would be like, hey, back off, and like give him a little shove or something. And this didn't go on for long. It was like 2 weeks that this like operation lasted for or
How,
whatever. Things move fast when
how
you're an elementary school kid.
And people say girls are manipulative.
true, cold hard truth. But how I feel like a more relevant question than time is how many baked goods did you receive during this time?
Well, every day I got something, so I don't know.
Every day? Every day you got something.
That was the deal. Is he was
You were a bodyguard on retainer with pumpkin
Yes.
chocolate chip muffins?
Yes. Every recess I would hang out with, I mean, I would often hang out with Evan anyways because we were friends, but I would like specifically hang around him that if Carl came by, I could be like, get out of here.
This is literally like, I feel like this is replicating like big geopolitical like politics in a really real way, or like it feels very much like an anime or something. I don't know.
I was thinking gangs,
All right, we can figure out the genre later. Let's
Okay, but there's more.
okay.
Please keep going. Yeah.
So because it was all okay, it doesn't okay, let me just move on. Push through.
Mhm.
This went on for a couple of weeks, and then another friend of mine, who I guess we'll call Zach. We'll call him Zach.
Mhm.
Another of like a friend of a more nerdy variety. We used to like go. I used to go over to his house, play video games, and we tried to build a tree house that, like looking back, it was just a plywood board in a tree. But anyways, he came to me as well. Had heard about the situation. His mom didn't do baked goods, but he would bring like Rice Krispie treats or other sorts of store-bought things that, as a very spoiled baked kid boy, I wouldn't often get store-bought things because, like, why would you do that when my mom makes really good brownies and stuff? So I was like, okay, sure, yeah, you're in on it. Deal again.
I need to go buy some Rice Krispies now.
Yeah. Oh, poor Emma. If you need to pause so you could get some snacks, that's understandable. But
We need to
so,
pause so I can take a breath.
oh my God. And also because I need to ask, the second kid was like, also protect me, or he was like, I'm also going to threaten to bully this kid.
No, also protect me. Like, I'll give you these store-bought goods if you also protect me in addition to Evan.
Was this kid also getting bullied by Carl?
I don't know. I mean,
Was he getting
I
bullied in
guess.
general?
No, like he wasn't a bully. He was like I mean, sure, fine. I guess he was sort of a bully. You can't say someone's not a bully when they're bullying people. But
Right, right.
when you're in elementary school, it's like everyone's just like different archetypes, and he was the archetype who would just like, I don't know. We were also friends.
For sure. This is not to disparage Carl, but just to get a lay of the land, like is this a fucking survival of the fittest elementary school? Like, is this
No,
some
so
what's
soft.
that book?
So the softest school ever. Like when I
Yeah,
went to the Christian middle school and then high school that we went to, I was like,
yeah.
whoa, these kids are rough. And like the school I went to, it was called Esker Lake. I don't know if that helps you paint a picture.
Esker Lake. This is an idyllic childhood.
It really was. By the way, just so everyone has an update, Emma has gotten some ice cream from our freezer and is popping
Good,
popcorn.
good. I'm very glad to hear that.
Doing
You
what
do
I can
you.
do in my best on a limited pantry.
You got to do what you can.
She better share some of that with me, or else Carl's gonna come and get her.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, everyone. It's okay over here.
Disclaimer from Emma. She's doing
Being very
fine.
kind. It's always safe. It's always safe.
Nobody needs
You're
to help
being mean
Emma.
to me now. I'm being bullied.
He protects me. You know, he's very what's the word? Protective.
All right. And so here's where like the real badness, it was all bad, but it's
Oh my god.
so Zach would bring store-bought stuff, but he would give me like half of, a Rice Krispie square, for example. But you can't really
Dude.
split half of a Rice Krispie square. So I didn't tell Carl about that part of the deal. I didn't tell him about the new recruit into the system.
Right. Right. Wait, okay. This is how this is significantly worse, I guess. No, that's not that much worse, I
Not
guess.
worse. It's just like then like even like betraying your, no honor amongst thieves.
Yeah, the tangled web.
Me and him had a scheme and I like schemed my scheme. I don't know. It feels worse. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay. There's more? Oh my
Well,
god.
yeah. So it has to culminate at some point. So it culminated in,
Yeah.
I don't remember if Carl like found out about me not, about me getting the extra stuff on the side, or if he just like organically was like, hey, I want a larger share of the baked goods or whatever. Or he was just
Yeah.
tired of it. I don't really know. But
Yeah.
he told me when we were all out on the playground or whatever, and he was talking to me and he said, hey, I want like a larger share or I'm going to stop doing this. And I'm going to tell everybody, like tell the two other kids, what's been going on, all the shenanigans. And so I was like not wanting that to happen. And then he started walking over towards where those two guys were and like talking loudly and being like, oh, I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I responded by pretending like I was just doing my like I gotta protect them thing, but like actually pushing him now. Like, no, now it's no longer we're doing a play. I'm like shoving him kind of a thing.
Oh my god. Oh my
He
god.
tackles me. We start rolling around like, kid fighting where you're just like rolling in circles on top of each other.
Yes.
A teacher comes, pulls us apart, and then hauls like not Zach for some reason, I don't remember why, but me, Carl, and Evan into the principal's office. And principal was, some lady who was then like, okay, guys, what's happening? What's going on? And anyways, this whole thing ended with the three of us all bawling in tears, just like in her office, crying so hard with everybody, but mostly me, explaining what had happened, like what the whole situation was to this authority figure and just crying because like anytime you're going to get in trouble and also
I bet that made her day. I bet she went home and she was like, oh boy, I got a story for you, family.
Oh my god, yes. To be that teacher is oh my god. Unfortunately, that teacher needs to be a character.
Oh yeah, there's no like like principal student privilege like with a therapist. You can just you got to share that
Oh
when you
yeah.
get back.
You gotta tell the world.
So yeah, we're crying in the principal's office. She hands out punishments, which are that me and Carl had to basically not have a recess for like I remember it being like for the rest of the year, but I don't know if that's
Whoa.
true or just like in my memory. But it was definitely a long time, and we had to help the teacher. Like we were all in the same class, and we had to help the teacher like put stuff away and clean up and whatever else during the recess break for however long, and that was our punishment.
That does feel like a kid dramatization of things to be like, and the rest of the year I had no
Yeah.
recess.
That's why I'm thinking. Like, I was thinking about it today when I was, preparing, and I was like, no, it couldn't have been the whole year. So I must have just been a couple of weeks, but in my head, it was like forever. And then weirdly, we all still stayed friends, which I don't know.
Oh.
Now that we've had kids in the house, it kind of seems like sometimes kids just get in like weird big fights and arguments or whatever, and it's just like the next day it's fine. And so I don't know. I guess that's what this was. We all cried in the office and then didn't really talk about it again, and we're just sort of back to being like friends. And the reason why I said Carl wasn't like a bully is because we all were friends in a way. Like we would all hang out all together and with like another couple of people, Bacanelli or whatever you called them, and some other people. but
Bacchanalia? I don't think
when you said
that's the
Ryan,
word you're looking
I don't know what last name you made up for him.
Oh, I said Brian Braccanelli.
Oh, okay.
But I thought you said Bracchanalia. Like, I don't know what that was. Sorry, keep going.
But yeah, so yeah, we all like remained friends and it didn't really come up again necessarily, but it was definitely a thing that was like, yeah, young Nathan was large and enjoyed baked goods and other treats and was really willing to
Wow.
bend some morality to get it.
Just for my, do I know either of these people in real life or any of these three people?
No, you wouldn't.
None of them went to TD.
Nah.
Damn.
Okay, can I propose a vision?
Oh my God, please.
Off-brand Dune, spice, etc. You're like a spice addict. I don't know.
Ooh, I see what you mean.
Oh, we're doing Dune, are we? Interesting.
I was thinking drugs, but I kind of want it to be more like magical or sci-fi or something.
Somehow the extortion of it has a sci-fi feel. I know what you mean.
Feels like mafia sci-fi, perhaps. Definitely very much, fake protection racket kind of a thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I could see it lending itself to noir, but me and Hillary did just watch Dune 2, and we had previously watched the old Dune, which is hilarious with like Patrick Stewart and the funniest like shield graphics in the world. Hilarious.
Dune Noir? Dune Noir?
Dune Noir. Dune Noir. You guys know Pinot Noir, that song in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes. Caviar, Dune Noir.
I don't remember any of the other lyrics, otherwise I'd be doing it flawlessly. But I need to dig deeper into this story too. I want to build on Dune Noir, but how long total did this go on?
I would say a couple of weeks, a month at most, maybe. I don't know 100% for sure, but that is my, vague memory of it.
Oh wow. I really like the image of you three crying together in the classroom, because that is quintessential kid climax. Is
Yeah,
like all of you know something's weird and you just lose it in front of the first adult that presses you on it.
Yeah.
It was all just kid world until then. And then somebody's like, "You were extorting baked goods from your friends." And you're like,
she also didn't tell our parents. Like, we didn't get calls home or anything else. It was just like, it was all handled like, okay, you guys don't get recess for a while. You're not mature enough for recess. And that was really
so she settled it in-house.
Bring back those days. Having kids, you get texts like every day. They're like, "Hey, your child like kind of misbehaved a little bit at lunch. You got to get involved in this situation.
Can you come to the school?"
Oh my God, really?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, they make you download like an app that all of the teachers can message you on and the principal. And it's like, sure, open communication, whatever.
Whoa.
But also, nah.
They made you download an app that the teachers could, like Slack, but for teaching?
Yeah, it's like just between like parents and teachers. And like the teachers can like send out messages to like all the parents or to individual parents or whatever.
Wow.
We would get messages every single day about kids' behaviors, which to be fair, we had some misbehaving kids, but every day.
Damn. That's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, not back then. Apparently, that principal was like, we don't have to. Oh, maybe she just didn't want to, because then she'd have to like also talk to Evan's parents and be like, this was also happening to your child for a month.
I know we have to turn the principal into a fictional character in like another setting, but I am just having fun imagining this principal as like with somebody who doesn't give a fuck and like is just kind of the stereotypical teacher who's done and like has a flask in her desk, smoking cigarettes, and then the teacher knocks and she has to put it out, and she's the bad kid, but she's the principal.
In the end, you're giving her baked goods so that she doesn't tell your parents.
Oh my God, that's a great turn. That's a pretty good turn.
But yeah, any other like questions? You said you wanted to delve a bit more. Do you have any like more like elucidating questions that you got for this one?
I want to know more about these kids. Like Carl was just kind of, like, is Carl, we use this comparison already, but is he kind of like a Zeke from Bob's Burgers type where?
No, I was a Zeke from Bob's Burgers type.
You were Zeke. Okay. And I'm sorry to anyone who doesn't understand that reference. Yes. Oh, I know. And
even in high school, I was very much that.
And you I met the last like vestiges of the jock in you, and I think slowly
It's
applied
true.
you to my
They're
end of
dead now.
things. Yeah, yeah. That Nathan is well and truly dead. But no, you like sports too, still. Right? I don't know. You do things like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, I do. And I still watch basketball, and my wife makes fun of me for it.
Oh,
So,
that's okay.
yeah. So I wouldn't say he was a Zeke. He was like that with like a tiny bit of meanness, I guess. But yeah, let me try to cast my mind back and really,
Yeah.
you know,
Emma, what was your perception of this story before this retelling? Like, you knew, was this infamous, a great crime from Nathan's childhood?
In my mind, yes, I remember him telling the story, and I could not forget it for
Uh-huh.
sure. And immediately, like before we ever even made this podcast, I was like, "Oh, that's just like a racket," you
That's a
know?
number. Yes, absolutely. Is do your parents know this story yet, Nathan?
yeah, they do. It's like one of the family story kind of stories. Because yeah, years later or something, when it was no longer a thing I would actively get in trouble for, I talked about it.
It's really good. It also the real kicker is how incredible of a baker your mom is. Like that's not like my mom is also an incredible baker. Like plenty of moms are, but Christine baked with such regularity that it was just like
Mm,
it
Yeah,
was always around. So you really had like you were
greed.
you were living in it. Like you were living in luxury and wanted. You're the Baron if we're doing Dune. Like I don't know. Like you, unfortunately.
Here's another mini story that also sort of shows this. My terrible greed is we would like very very rarely like actually like go out and like buy like I said like we didn't get store bought goods because why would you? But one time we were out and my mom got me a Mars bar and we were eating it and we were walking like out of the grocery store while I was eating it and then I saw a Skittle on the ground in like that part in Canada because it's so cold in grocery stores there's like two sliding doors.
Uh-huh.
So the part between the two sliding
Yeah.
doors, there was like someone had dropped some Skittles, and I was reaching down to eat them while having the Mars bar open in my other hand. And my mom was like, "Stop! No, you don't even get the Mars bar anymore. Stop! This is too much, Nathan. What are you talking about? You have one in your hand, and you're getting." Ground Skittles from like the grossest place, just that in between area where people like wipe off their boots.
I mean, that is wild, and I'm also still laughing at you going, "My terrible greed!" Like you're an afflicted king in a fantasy world. Oh my god. Okay, Emma, tell me more about your Dune idea.
that's about as far as I got. Now, once you said noir, though, I
Mm,
feel like that would be fun.
mm,
I feel like we shouldn't do like big scale, like I'm the Baron or world planet
mm-hmm.
things. I feel like doing it more like I'm like a low level, some kind of like a local corrupt politician, and then that's where it's happening.
Yeah,
Because like the fact that it happened like in elementary school, all very small and whatever,
yeah,
rather than a grand scale.
that's true.
Maybe all within a crime family, like they're all grown crime people, but like
Mm,
in the end, the principal is like the matriarch of the family or the patriarch of the family or
that's
something.
good. I mean, that's
Hmm.
really good. I think we can still borrow like the Sandy vibes and still kind of the fantastical, not spice, but the product in question, not quite baked goods, but something illicit.
I feel like it should be that Evan and Zach was the name, aren't like a part of a crime thing.
Hmm.
Because then it's like I have friends who are in the crime world and friends who are out of it, and I'm pretending to help the friends who are out of it, kind of a
Hmm.
thing.
I guess I was maybe imagining Evan as like a shopkeeper of some kind. Now that we're talking about crime family.
Yeah, but he should be like if or he could just be like if we're doing Dune and spice and whatever, like he could be like a I don't know, a harvester or something like that of the spice and then someone else is bullying him trying to like take it or trying to do something and then I make the deal with the legitimate spice merchant character.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I can feel it, but it's still fuzzy in my mind, and I need more. I don't know what else.
And so Emma, are you still wanting to play, little Nathan?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Big Nathan.
Yeah, let's start with characters. Who like tell me about how you're transforming Lil Nathan into Big Nathan.
Okay, Okay, there's also the Star Wars angle where we could be like Hutts within the crime family.
Oh, Huts is
Huts is
good.
good.
Make little Nathan, big Nathan a Hut.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
everyone in this a Hutt,
Wait, but
really.
you also
I feel like the innocent shouldn't be Huts.
they're
Yeah.
gross. I want Star Wars, but I don't want Huts. Is that bad? Did I just shit on that idea? They're just gross. They're icky. I'm sorry.
I mean, sounds like you're hating on Huts.
I am.
Pretty racist. Pretty racist.
Species is probably.
They really fucked up Leia. Like, pretty fucked up.
Wow. You mean one of them did? Jeez.
Hashtag not all Hutts.
I think actually all Huts though. Like I think canonically, like yes, all
Yeah,
Huts.
this is not an issue with me. This is an issue with the Star Wars canon, where they're like, all the Hutts are greedy mobsters, right?
Yeah. Sorry, that was just me stopping myself from doing a lore dump about the stuff I know about Huts because it doesn't matter.
Tell us a little bit, especially if you were playing one in your childhood.
Lore dump.
Yeah, they used to be like not big and fat and lazy. They used to be like a big warrior race.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took over some other planets and enslaved them and then just became so rich and not having to do anything that they all became like Jabba type. And that's what that is, anyways.
We could flash back to that transition time where they're going from warrior to lazy. Like we're in that transition period. And you know what that transition time is? Noir. It's noir.
My god.
Hut noir.
Oh my god.
I like it.
It's like an alien, an alien race, these big dudes in this kind of like industrial, also like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, those kind of big like square like the boring dudes that are building the superhighway who read the terrible poetry. You guys know them?
Oh, yes, I know.
And they're like incredibly boring. They're incredibly dull, you know?
Oh, yes. I do, because they're so
All I'm
bad.
thinking about is their architecture, like the big squares. I don't know if the office corporate side of things works with like the school setting in some way. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the like desert-y planet, these are like a big alien race, and like the wealthiest among them are kind of, becoming too rich for their own blood, and they're becoming immobile, and they're too successful in some way. So greed, we're playing with greed here. The people at the top are greedy, and our main character is maybe not at the top, but we're going to explore how their greed comes out, how their terrible, terrible greed gets to them.
Nice.
Also, you know how the Huts got too big?
How?
All the baked goods.
Oh my God, so true.
So Emma is going to be Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the other two characters should be, Carl and Evan. I feel like the two other main players. Which one do you want to be?
Well, you know what I noticed another time when I was listening to the episode was that you have in the past also been like asked us to which one we wanted and then took the third one. So I think we should make you choose someday. But my thoughts for this one are that I almost want to play Evan because I want you to still have to play out your guilt in some way.
Wow.
Is that savage? Is that too mean?
No, I'll be Carl. I can do that.
Okay, nice. So you're Carl. You're the bad guy. But what do you want? Would you rather be Evan?
No, I honestly didn't have a preference, which is why I usually don't have too much of a preference, which is why I think I leave it to people. But this one, I just knew I didn't want to be the Nathan role.
Yeah. And so, Emma, how do you envision Big Nathan in this alien race? Like, what's a physical description? And also, like, what is your job? Like, what's your noir position?
I have a vision for who's playing the victim. You're playing the victim, Maddie.
I was gonna play the victim. Yeah.
So noir, you always have to have a femme fatale. I feel like this would be a good opportunity for like little old me. I've been hurt. I've been I don't know. But usually there's not as much fatale. It's kind of more just a victim. I'm trying to think of how to incorporate that because it would be fun to have some version of that in someone.
Well, Jack, I don't know what happened. They come in and they rough up my shop and I just don't know what to do.
Perfect. Yes.
But you would also have to be the one who like is supplying something like the spice or whatever. Oh, speaking of which, me and Emma were saying we probably shouldn't do Huts just to, I mean, obviously we're not going to get sued because no one's going to listen to this. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, we should probably do,
But
technically legally distinct huts or whatever.
I was gonna say you've run into copyright issues with Star Wars before. You got to watch it with them. They've got your name on a list.
That's true. I'm already on their radar.
We already made that really legitimate looking Pirates of the Caribbean meme.
Yeah, I think eventually we are gonna get got someday if we continue at this rate.
Me and Emma were saying,
Um,
how fun would it be to get a cease and desist from somebody?
uh, it'd be sick. It'd be so good. I'm down to kind of collect cease and desists. Like I'm down to ride the line of copyright law if you guys are.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm definitely down to be a complicated femme fatale who, on one hand, is innocent in this interaction, but is complicit in the larger system of this alien city.
Yeah, we're all friends. We all run in the same circles anyways, you know?
Yeah, of course. It's not like I'm innocent, but I am being extorted.
I feel like spice is a generic enough term. Like everyone stole that from Dune. We can just use that as our sci-fi drug name. So the idea would be that your character either like sells or in some way produces spice for the crime world. But then my character is, you know, maybe I'm not even necessarily like because like wasn't oh dang, that's the real name.
I
Got that.
like that.
Um, Carl. So yeah, like Carl wasn't stealing, like he wasn't bullying people to give them their baked goods. He was just like bullying them and annoying them in other ways. And so maybe, oh no, I don't want my character to be like a creep. I was thinking that's not a fun, but like something like I'm bugging you for something else, and then Nathan is like, Emma's character is like, hey, I'll make him stop for spice.
Mm,
Your eyes are green with spice.
Instead of blue.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm still wondering about the use of the word spice. I wonder if we have to change it somehow, not for copyright, just because that might confuse people. Who are it might make us too much in the Dune world.
Fair enough.
Like
Although I will say, like
the
Star Wars uses spice, and I think so does every other sci-fi thing. They all just like stole
oh
it
my
from
god,
Dune. But
really? Okay,
we
interesting.
we can
I mean,
do
maybe,
something else.
but now this is the other conundrum: is what if we're just gonna say spice? Either
Like
way,
I just said the real name a second ago of my friend.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think maybe we're trapped by spice either way, but it's lowercase spice. It's not capital S spice like in the movie with Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya that shall not be named. Okay, but so here's my thought too. It's I'm being hassled for spice by Emma's character, and you are saving me, but then you guys end up working together. This is just the basic like social formation that you've laid out, and like we can go from here, and there can be variations, but trying to understand it from the beginning. I somehow still have this image of me working in a store, like in a storefront that is like a front for the spice trade, or no,
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, okay, because that also like that helps with the location for things to happen in.
You sell baked goods as a front. Maybe what Evan wants is actually the baked goods. Sorry, not Evan.
Oh
I
my
can't keep track of anyone, but who the Nathan's character that he's playing is like actually wants the baked goods versus I want the spice.
god!
So you're just making
Oh
me
wait.
want baked goods again?
We're just making you like relive your trauma.
That's kind of cute because there is a drug trade going on, but your character still wants the baked goods. Like, does that make sense? Can we do that? Is that something you're interested in, Nathan?
Guys, this is not the way my therapist talks to me. That's all I'm gonna say.
What are you talking about? I said, is that something you're interested in? I'm giving you a choice.
We have to keep her in business. If we don't bully you a little bit, then like, what do you have to talk about?
It's true. We're not your therapists. We have to be meaner.
Uh,
Oh
right,
no,
so
you didn't laugh.
Oh no, that wasn't a non-laugh thing. That was a me thinking about it thing.
It should definitely be a bakery that is
Okay.
a front for the spice trade. But you, Emma, you should be able to decide for yourself as Nathan whether or not you want baked goods or drugs.
Well, I feel like what it
Um,
should be is rather than baked
mhm.
goods, I think it should be that Carl just wants like money, trying
Mm,
to get money on the side from this person or something like that, rather than not because I don't want it to be baked goods necessarily, just because I feel like it's more realistic or better or whatever if it's money.
While I, as Nathan, want the spice.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Because I think Nathan should be like he's a part of the gang, but he's getting high on the own supply. So he needs like a side
Hmm.
way to get spice or to get these drugs.
Hmm. Hmm.
The femme fatale comes to him and is like, "Protect me," and he's like, "I will," sort of.
And in
Yeah.
the very
You
last
need a.
episode of this, we
Mm.
rope Hills in as the principal, as the matriarch. Just throwing it out there. Really
I'll see what
quick
I can do.
appearance.
I'll
Ooh,
see what I can do. I'll try to lay some groundwork.
that'd be good. Also, speaking of though, should the principal be like a matriarch of the family? Because I kind of feel like
Yes.
I see. I was thinking not, but I could be convinced
Oh.
otherwise.
Well, tell me what you were thinking.
My reasoning for not, and I guess you guys are outvoting me, so that's okay. But my reason for not is because I feel like the principal is such an outer authority figure who can like just come in and like change the whole thing that it's almost separate from the gang life and the gang family. But I guess
Mm,
because we're all in the gang world, it makes sense for her to be matriarch of the family, has dealings with the femme fatale character because she's in on the game a little bit.
I think she has like to be accurate to your lived experience as a child. This matriarch, it's from a significant. It's not a small crime family. If it's a big crime family, it's not like your boss's boss. It's like your boss's 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 boss. Like this person should not be
Mhm.
interacting with any of us. You know.
And it's only
Um,
because we made such a mess of things that she even has to get
right.
involved.
Right. Things have to escalate. Things have to escalate in a big way.
And I do think, like, similar to noir and femme fatale style and what actually happened, I think it should be that your character approaches Emma's character rather than the other way around
Yes. Yep.
and says, like,
Smart.
can you
Smart.
protect me? And then, you know, Emma's character takes advantage.
Yes, that's a very good point. Because there does have to be a scene where I walk into like whatever the equivalent of your office is, Emma, or like your dive bar.
She had legs up to her waist.
Well, I'm running out of pants and spice. No, I'm not running out of pants. Because the
Also,
legs comment.
the spice thing,
Yeah.
I feel like we should just say drugs, maybe generic, just drugs rather than spice. Because I think you're right. It does sound too, you know, specific to that world,
Yeah.
even if it is used other places.
I don't want to take the space out of it. Like, I want this to be.
I'm not saying no space. I'm saying
Yeah, I just want to be careful that we keep like the. I want it to be noir, but I want it to be noir in space.
I see. I see.
True.
Lots of
That's a really good
Nalhada,
point.
that sort of stuff, Narshada, etc.
Yes, and like cool modes of transportation. Is teleportation a thing?
Hmm. I would vote no. I feel like flying cars and speeders are more fun than teleportation, maybe.
Definitely flying cars and speeders. What about? I mean, like we have phasers, so we can still have like gunfights, but they're space gunfights.
Of course.
What else makes this feel? Is it a desert world, right? Like we are still in the desert world.
Yes. I'm thinking almost a little bit Fallout vibes in terms of like deserty world with like
Mm.
50s technology but sci-fi cuz the noir, right?
Ooh,
You know, like
Hmm.
yeah,
old-timey sci-fi-ified technology.
yes, absolutely. I can see that. So then some things are kind of rusted also. It's not like sleek and shiny.
Yes.
It's like wet and rainy and like maybe it's kind of like an oasis in a desert where it's still very concrete and dark, but there is like how does the sand show up?
Random sandstorms.
And we're the shitty aliens like that are kind of responsible for the downfall of this world. Like
Ooh.
it used to be like
Mm-hmm.
I just looked it up. Film noir was like the 40s and 50s. So it used to be like
Mm-hmm.
40s and 50s glamour planet and then like us shitty off-brand huts. We'll figure out a
Uh-huh.
species name came into this world and just like made it worse. But it's gotten our
Mm.
lives better. I don't know.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that because that is also greed too.
Yes.
And I do love that. The terrible greed of Nathan Brown.
I think you have to say that line at some point, like my terrible greed.
My terrible greed. What has it wrought?
I have to practice my transatlantic accent. How would you say my terrible greed in transatlantic?
No idea.
Listen here, doll, my terrible greed.
Nailed it. Nailed it in one.
God damn it, Maggie. Don't you know my terrible greed got us to this place?
Oh, you're going to be good at this, Maddie. I can tell. That was great.
I'm going to have a fun time. Well, I'm Maggie, actually, I think is what I just... That's the femme fatale that I was speaking to in that voice that I will now assume the role of.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out some Nathan name options. Alonzo. Charleston.
Are you using ChatGPT again?
No, I just googled like a film noir baby name.
What? The film noir baby names? That's not a thing.
Guy,
All film noir babies are eventually film noir men.
Harvey.
Oh, Hardy. Like the Hardy Boys.
Hardy could be fun. Maybe that's a strong contender. Monty.
Ooh, I like Monty.
I was really partial to Charleston. I will say it's not my character, so I don't get to choose. But I loved Charleston.
All right, I think I'm gonna steal Monty for my character, if that's okay with you, Emma.
Okay, so you can be Monty, and I'll either be. Okay, wait, what was it? Hardy is like a classic rough and tumble bad guy one, but I kind of like Alonzo too.
Alonzo is also fire.
It's me, Alonzo.
But you do sound like a circus clown too.
What happened to your transatlantic accent?
It's me, Alonzo.
I just heard to start everything with "Listen here, doll. Listen here, doll. It's me, Alonzo."
Okay, Alonzo in a transatlantic accent is way different than Alonzo in like a circus clown that smokes too many cigarettes accent.
In a good way or a bad way?
Because without the transatlantic accent, Alonzo is a circus clown that smokes too many cigarettes to me.
And you're Maggie?
Dame Maggie spit. No, Dame Maggie, not spit. I was trying to do something that wasn't Smith but was close to it, but it has spit is not where I wanted to land. Dame Maggie, just Dame Maggie. No, because that's too high class. I'm not a dame, actually.
In this society, we're a society of like shitheads. You could be high class for us.
And also, femme fatales are also often like a fancy-ish lady who's fallen on hard times.
That's true. I do own a shop, which probably puts me in a better place than most of the ruffians around us.
Oh, maybe your shop is failing, and that's why you have to like do this sketchy stuff.
And I was thinking, because my initial instinct was to be like a a high nasally voice, but then I wanted to be like, but I want to be more serious and smoke more cigarettes, and I want to be kind of the tough kind of femme fatale, but not going all the way into like Georgie, like I'm your aunt, because that's not fun at all.
Oh my gosh. If you can't get Hills, you have to play the principal with that voice.
Georgie, I'm your aunt. Okay. Deal, I promise. But yes, okay. But I think Maggie, maybe some people call me Dame Maggie. Some people don't. Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe some people call me Big Al for short.
I like that.
Nathan's not smiling.
I'm just typing things. I'm doing things.
Okay, will you help us make our character sheets again, Nathan?
That's what I was typing.
I thought you might be.
Oh, what a nerd, am I right?
You can tell he likes the numbers part of it. Unlike you and me, Emma, we're true artists.
I don't know about you, doll, but I'm all brawn. I'm here. I'm big. I'm big now. On the block, getting.
All right, Emma does not get to play this character anymore. Sorry, revoke.
I'm just here to clean up all the spice in this town.
Cleaning up my nose.
Listen, Big Al.
Don't you know a dame?
Listen, Big Al. You've been around here a few times, and I don't need to tell you again. I don't have any spice for you. I'm running out. Okay? I can barely sell, and you think people around this city are buying fucking baked goods? We're all doing the best we can to keep a roof on over our head in these fucking sandstorms. And oh my god, you're coming around here asking me to shorten my supply for you?
All right, Maggie. So what do you think your stats
Charisma,
are?
darling. I'm starting with charisma.
D12.
And I'm going to have to put intelligence next. I think that is just perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we do dexterity, a third? I'm definitely dexterous.
All right. We got brawn and grit.
And grit. Oh, no, sorry. Grit should be third. I am not ungritty. I'm more gritty than I am dexterous, but I'm more dexterous than I am brawny, darling. Get with it.
Perfect. All right, and then take a look at the. Do you have the attribute list there? Me and Emma can do the stats while you take a look. Emma, what do you got for Big Al?
Listen here, doll. Big Al is big on brawn. I want to say a little bit of no, yeah, kind of no grit because of the principal crying at the end situation. If we're being honest, yeah, I think maybe charm next. Like, I think it takes a certain level of charm
To pull this, like
to
the
pull.
lies off and everything.
Yeah, you're like lying to all these people, and sure you get caught eventually, but like you're trying to use charm. Then, what do you think, deft or brains?
I guess in this story, brain's higher than deafness. Like deafness doesn't come up too much in this story.
Yeah. We'll go brains and then deft.
And then grit last. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then for Mort is what I said we're going with, or no, not Mort,
Monty.
Monty, sorry.
More very different.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's not what it was. All right. So for Monty, I think I'm going to go grit as highest and then brawn second highest. What would be next? I'm going to say brains, then charm, then deafness. All right. And then, so there's 5 +1s that we can put anywhere we want, except you just can't put them all into one
Oh.
skill. So if there's something that you're like, okay, I definitely want to be making sure that I'm getting good on brawn rolls or
I
whatever
get
else.
5 +1s? Oh, I can distribute them however I want.
Except you can't put them all in one. That's the only rule.
Can you do like 4 in one?
Yeah, you can do 4 in one and 1 in the other one if you want to.
I'll do 4 in brawn and 1 in charm.
Okay,
Just
I'm going to
stack
put
it.
3 in charm. I'm going to put 1 in brains and 1 in grit.
All right, I'm putting 2 in charm. Or sorry, 2 in brawn, 2 in grit, and then I'm gonna put 1 in charm actually. All right, and then do you have any ideas, Maddie/Maggie, for your attributes
Yes,
there?
so I think I'm going to do, well, I was about to say unassuming, but, even if I think I could be a good hide, blend in, or escape person, but I think I'm not unassuming. That's not my character. I'm a femme fatale. Like, people look at me when I walk in the room. I'm hot as fuck. So I'm going to go with prepared. Can spend an adversity token to just happen to have one commonplace item with me. That's helpful.
And your shopkeeper
Absolutely.
makes sense.
And I think I'm going to go down to mixed for both of them, actually, because these seem to be fitting better. We're in a noir world, So I think I'm rebellious. I've got +2 on rolls when resisting authority figures, -2 when trying to charm or fit in around authority figures. And I think I am a quick thinker. So I can't take half of my dice roll on planned actions, but I re-roll ones once. Nice.
Sweet. All right, and then Big Al, what you got?
I'm thinking wealthy muscle.
Nice. Damn, Nathan, your literal child in the Kids on Bikes game is a wealthy muscle.
I think that's just like me having lots of baked goods. That's translating
That's
into child wealth.
It is. It is literally child wealth. As a strong child.
Um.
Well, you could get protective, or maybe no. That's not actually true, though.
Yeah, I'm just putting on. I'm putting on a show. I'm not
Deceptively
loyal.
protective.
Am I a trained fighter? Maybe. Yeah, I'll go trained fighter also.
Okay, so sounds good. So trained fighter, muscle, and so I'm sorry. What was the last one you did? wealthy.
Yeah, I helped conquer this world for its spice resources, using all of my muscle and stuff, and now I feel entitled to, unlimited spice. Did we decide? Are we calling it spice?
I
Sure.
think we're too far in now.
What should our species be called? What should this planet be called? Do we have opinions on that? I guess the planet doesn't matter.
Krelnor.
Well, we should think of like a city name
Yeah,
or
probably
something.
not Krel.
What was
Probably
that,
not
Maddie?
Krelnor. I don't think Krelnor is it. Rothschild. That's a name.
Maybe we're like in the Rothschild crime family.
Will we get
Wait.
sued for that?
Maybe a Roth children is our race. We're the Roth
Children of Roth.
We're the
We're the
Roths.
Roths.
Oh, that's a good species name.
Yeah, our species is Roth.
As the
Yeah, the
children of Roth, we are heir to much fortune. That was not a transatlantic accent.
What's an innocent
Ooh.
old-timey planet
York.
name? Green Valley. Green
Egg.
Acres. What was the name of your
Oh my
elementary
God.
school, Nathan?
Esker Lake.
We're on the planet of Esker Lake.
Or that should be like the city name or something like that. I feel like it's not a great. It doesn't make sense as a
I
planet.
agree that it should be the name of the city. We should be talking about Esker Lake a lot. Esker Lake's not what it used to be. I'll tell you that right now.
It's literally, it's like Lake Ontario. Like you can't swim in it except for like one day a year because it's
Honey,
so poisoned.
the last time somebody swam in Esker Lake, there were 3 hazmat teams down in the water for about 48 hours. So I'm telling you, I know you're new to town. Don't go for a dip. Am I right?
All right,
That
Oh, sorry,
was
I'm
met
picking
with
my
silence. I was like, this is great character work.
Listen here, doll. You're right. You're right.
That's like the second time we did that to you. I'm
So
sorry.
rude. I'm putting my all out here for you guys.
You're killing it. I just like I'm trying to do. I have to get into using my transatlantic accent without saying "listen here,
No,
doll" at
you
the start
should.
of every sentence, which it turns out is really hard. It takes a lot of mental
I think actually
energy.
you should probably say "listen here, doll" at the beginning of most sentences.
Listen here, doll. Maybe you're right. Maybe
Now,
I will.
can I offer you a pumpkin chocolate chip muffin?
Only if it has some of the spice in it.
Oh my God. Well, it doesn't. So, and also you have to pay.
Emma's reaching for the mic. I'm not giving it back to her though.
No, come on. Give her the mic. Give her the mic.
Listen here, doll.
Just the fucking manic out of breath. Listen here, doll.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making your sorry. This Big Al is gonna be an absolute fiending. There's a reason. Part of your lack of grit is just that you have like zero impulse control when it comes to this
All
drug.
greed,
Like,
no grit. I think
Maybe I do want to play my character.
I was
actually,
about to say you prefacing this by being like, I don't like who I was as a 4-year-old or like as a 4th grader in this story. It just gave us permission to be like, you sucked in this story. Like we're gonna make you shitty.
we don't like you as the child either. Us too.
Us too.
it's okay. We'll make so much fun of you that like you'll feel like the real victim by the
No.
end of these episodes.
By the right now already.
You're gonna be so fully formed. You're gonna be a 3-dimensional character. We're gonna understand why you made the choices that you made. What do your parents have to say about this story? What does your family say when this story is told these days?
Like laughter. I remember the first time I told it, there was like lots of just like not believing or just being like, "What? That's too complex. What are you talking about?" And yeah, if I hadn't like still been friends with the person and had them to like back me up on it, I don't know that it would have been a believed story because they were just like, "What? How did the school not tell us that sort of a thing?" But yeah, I think also like now it's like, yeah, that makes sense based on remembering past Nathan. I don't know. I was a pretty good kid, but I got in like lots of trouble just by, I don't know, like falling into weird situations kind of like this where I
Mm,
lied a lot as a kid. That was like my main
mhm,
thing that used to get me in trouble all the time. And so it would just be like always having weird schemes or other sorts of things that I would like build up until they like
mhm.
imploded kind of just
God,
like
which is
this.
I really want to when we do our version, I really want to stay true to that. And especially like it is
It just like gets bigger and bigger and
yes,
out
it
of
is and you
control.
just keep like you keep pulling in other threads. Like this one I feel like this one will be a little hard to handle because we'll keep like I don't know, there has to be betrayals, there have to be backstabbings. Not like necessarily like with a bunch of different characters, but like I want to replicate the like tangled web that children weave among themselves in this crime family, you know?
There is something truly sympathetic about just like the lack of impulse control of a child or whatever, or even like an adult character that's like a drug addict. Like those are
Hmm.
sympathetic characters. That's like you're Jesse, not Walt. You know what
Yes.
I mean? In Breaking Bad, kind of
Yes,
thing. Yeah.
absolutely.
It's just my wife trying to make me feel better about
She
it.
called you Jesse in Breaking Bad. I don't know if that's her trying to make you feel better.
She said not Walt, so I'll
That's
take
true.
that. But for my adjectives, I chose
Nice.
true believer. I think that my character fully buys into the history of, the Roths and of this
Mm,
crime family and
hmm.
everything else like that. And then I got tough and trained killer. I think that Mike, like, if we translate what Carl was into this world, I think he's not just the tough bruiser guy that Big Al is. I think he's more like, a guy you send to like do some really rough stuff kind
Mm-hmm.
of a thing.
Hmm. That's fun. That's super fun. I'm excited about this one. This is very fun.
All right. Is there any other stuff we have to sort out? I think that we're pretty good as far as this
I
episode
think so.
goes.
Any other thoughts, Emma?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I'm excited.
I want like a little recap of the story before we go into the next one, just so I can remember the beats. Because it's like somebody asks you for help, you say yes for a price. You go to the other person and you go, "I'm doing this. You want in?" Like, so you start putting on a show.
Oh, may I interrupt? I do think that another
Mhm.
important thing is that it should be that Big Al has already asked um, Maggie for drugs because
Mm,
like I mentioned, was
mm-hmm,
always a mooch. And so that's why Evan was like, here, I'll give you some of this if you help me out with Carl. So it
mm-hmm,
should be like, you've been pestering Maggie and she's like, here, if you solve this problem for me, then I'll
mm-hmm,
do it or
mm-hmm.
whatever.
Okay, love that.
And yes, I did go to Carl and say, "Hey Carl, how about you keep on pretending to bully?"
Surely this
And
person you're pretending to bully doesn't actually feel bullied.
but I would always get there really quick.
Yeah.
Like not, I'd be
How
right there,
actually, yeah,
standing. Bam.
how rough was it before you got there though? Like you were really on it and like you guys all kind of liked each other. It wasn't like
Well,
too bad, right?
no, it wasn't like, it was never like hitting
Mhm.
anybody or anything like that. It was bullying is even maybe a stretch. It's like bothering or
Mhm.
whatever. But anyways, and then yeah, once I was, hired, like I said, I would just basically always hang around Evan. And so then I would like just stop the fake bullying immediately. Like he would walk up and be like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and I'd be like, "Get out of here."
That makes sense. Oh my God. I would love to be able to just see that play out in your childhood in real time.
Just on a
Yeah.
screen.
Oh my God. Wow.
Well, you're about to get a taste of it next week.
Well, let's do some plugs, and then the two of you are pretty good at the accent. One of you two should do the, outro once we do
Yeah,
plugs.
yeah, I'll start. I'm Maddie, matt.kok on Instagram, but you probably know that already.
I'm Emma, EMSHINEART, Shine Art on Instagram.
And Emma was the one who did our wonderful art for the podcast, and the intro and outro music was done by Keiko Akato. You can find me on most places at Nathan Who Writes. And if you want to read some weird Star Wars fan fiction book that I wrote when I was like 19, you can check out The Grey War online. That's what we were talking about when we talked about getting sued by Disney.
And like I edited it, like, and it was a long. Well, did I edit that one as much? I did, right?
Oh,
Yeah, okay,
you
that was
did.
the one I like really truly edited, and I think I like helped with the fantasy one that you have too, but I didn't maybe spend as much time on it. I remember it taking me a long time during like my first year or two in college to edit that book for you and feeling bad about it.
Yeah, you sent me something back. I was very happy with how many like notes and corrections and other
Oh,
sorts of things you
well,
sent
that's
back.
nice that it was good then at least. But and I stand by this looking back. It's pretty good. It's like a good story. I enjoyed it. Like I read other Star Wars fan fiction books. I guess they were probably officially canon, the ones that I was reading, but like
Legends, yeah, probably.
Nathan's was on par. Yeah.
All right. So what's going to be happening
Um,
next week?
listen. I'm getting into character with Big Al. Big Al, tell the people what they need to come back for next week. Unless you're so high on spice, you can't even talk.
Well, next year, listen here, doll. If you come back next week, you get to experience the magic of Esker Lake, the greatest place on this planet, the greatest place that our wonderful species of Roth have ever lived. And it's fantastic for everyone. We haven't ruined all of the environment in search of spice at all. Don't worry about it. And if we have, it's worth it because spice is amazing.
Ay.
Come back next week to help us bully Nathan as he relives his childhood trauma.
Someone else's childhood trauma.
That's the end. That's good. Someone else's childhood
Great.
trauma. I like that.
I mean,
Not
I definitely
trauma.
don't think the person this is about is going to listen to this, but
Yeah.
man, is that, I don't know, a nightmare scenario? Them talking to me and being like, hey, Nathan, randomly came across your podcast. I don't know which one of the two would be worse for them to listen to it.
I would like that a lot.
Invite them on to
Oh
play
my God.
themselves.
Yeah, for real. I think one day we will get to that point.
I haven't talked to them in like 15 years.
You have to send them this podcast. That's how we're going to get listeners. That's the only way we're going to get listeners.
Yeah, by sending people who are featured in our podcast the
Sending people
links.
the stories we tell about them after the fact. Do it from like a burner
Yeah.
account and be like, I can't believe Nathan was saying this.
Nope, stop. Just trying to pop my pimples while we do this.
Ew! What? Also, for a second, I thought Nathan was like, "Stop recording! I can't do this." But
It's too much. It's too
it's too
much. I
much.
can't.
I was 4 baked goods. I had nerd
It
friends and jock friends.
it is too much though. I'm already like, no, okay.
Oh my God!
So I'm
Keep
gonna
going.
use